Okay, so let's dive in. Have you ever, hit that point where you really needed to talk to someone, like proper mental health support, but just couldn't get it? Maybe it was the cost, right? Or the waiting lists, or just finding someone nearby felt impossible? It's a challenge so many people face, and it's pretty heartbreaking. But what if technology, specifically AI, artificial intelligence, could actually step in and like totally redefine how we get that care? That's exactly what we're digging into today. The future of mental health tech, how AI is changing therapy.
Yeah, it's a huge question, isn't it? And what we really want to do in this deep dive is kind of explore this whole changing world of mental health tech. We'll unpack the main ideas, look at the maybe surprising roles AI is already playing, show you some real world examples, and then really sort of pull back the curtain on how these AI tools actually work. We'll definitely highlight the benefits because there are significant ones, but also take a hard look at the challenges, the ethical stuff that comes with it, and finally peek at what might be coming next for AI in this really vital field.
Right. And for you listening, this really matters because, at its core, mental health tech is about closing that gap, that huge, often painful gap between people needing help and actually getting it. We know the traditional barriers are just immense. You've got therapist shortages everywhere, the stigma, which is still very real, the high costs making it feel like a luxury, and sometimes just where you live. All these things kind of conspire against people getting the support they need, sometimes desperately.
Yeah.
So, our aim here is to show you how these innovations are making support available, like anytime, anywhere, really empowering you to take charge of your own mental well being. It's like a digital safety net.
Exactly. So maybe to set the stage, let's first get clear on what we even mean by mental health tech. It's really an umbrella term. Covers a whole range of digital tools, apps, platforms. Think of it as this fascinating crossroads,
Yeah?
where psychology, psychiatry, data science, AI, and digital health all meet. Broadly speaking, we can kind of put them into three main buckets. First, you've got your self-guided tools, things like journaling or meditation apps. Then there are virtual therapy platforms. These connect you directly to human therapists. And finally, the really fast-moving area, these AI-driven services.
Okay, you mentioned those AI driven services. And when we talk about AI's specific role here, you said it's mainly integrated in two big ways, right? Can you break those down for us quickly? Like, is one more obvious to the user? And how do they work together?
Absolutely. So the first one, and yeah, definitely the most visible, is conversational AI. These are your chatbots, your virtual therapists. They're designed to simulate therapeutic conversations. That's what you interact with directly. The second category works more behind the scenes. That's the data analysis and prediction tools. These systems look at huge amounts of data, maybe behavioral, maybe linguistic, to spot subtle shifts in mental state or even predict potential crises. And they complement each other. One offers direct interactive support while the other gives this passive proactive monitoring. It creates a more complete safety net. So yeah, when we dig a bit deeper into what mental health tech actually is, beyond just that umbrella term, the main goal is always making mental health care more accessible, more scalable, and more responsive.
And those three types you laid out are key. So the self-guided tools, those are great for working on your own, right? Or for preventative stuff, like you said, journaling apps, Headspace, Calm for meditation, mood trackers, even digital CBT modules. Then the virtual therapy platforms, they're connecting people to actual human therapists through video or messaging. Things like BetterHelp or Talkspace, they definitely make traditional therapy way more convenient and often cut down the cost and the wait times.
Exactly. And then we get to the AI-driven services, which are really at the cutting edge. These tools use AI to, like we said, simulate those therapy talks, analyze patterns in your speech or writing, or even predict the risk of a mental health crisis before it really blows up. Chatbots like Wobot and Wysa are good examples, or platforms like Mindstrong that look at how you use your phone. The whole point, really, of mental health tech is tackling these big global problems. Accessibility, making support there anytime, anywhere. Scalability, one AI can help thousands. Responsiveness, getting instant support. And consistency, delivering care that's structured and repeatable.
It's kind of wild to think how much this changes the whole landscape. Before, it felt pretty black and white, right? Either in-person therapy, if you could afford it and deal with the stigma, or often nothing. But now you've got all these extra layers of support. Digital coaching, peer groups and apps, phone reminders to check your mood, even AI that helps you challenge negative thoughts right when they happen. I think the real insight here is that by offering this low-stakes, anonymous way in, AI isn't just making it okay to talk about mental health, it's actually creating brand new ways for people to even start thinking about their needs, getting around those old societal barriers.
Precisely. So let's zoom in on the AI part specifically. How does it actually fit into this picture? We mentioned the two main ways. The first one, conversational AI, includes those chatbots and virtual therapists we talked about. They simulate conversations to give emotional support, maybe deliver CBT techniques, or guide you through mindfulness exercises.
They sound pretty advanced. What makes them sophisticated? Is it more than just like pre-programmed answers? And how important is that idea of someone being ready to actually engage with therapy, whether it's AI or a human?
Yeah, it's the technology underneath that makes them sophisticated. The core thing here is natural language processing, NLP. This lets the AI understand your words, figure out the sentiment, even pick up on subtle things, kind of like a human would, but, at scale. Because of this, you can chat via text or voice, and these bots use NLP to understand and reply, guiding you through frameworks like CBT or DB2, which focuses on emotional regulation, or ACT, which is more about mindfulness and values. The key features are that immediate 24/7 access, the non-judgmental space, guided exercises, and mood tracking. Good examples are Wobot, that one's got strong research behind it. WISA blends AI chat with optional human support. The Replica is more about companionship. And about readiness, that's a really interesting point. It's sort of a paradox. While AI can't feel empathy, its constant availability and lack of judgment can actually make it feel safer for people who are really vulnerable or scared of being judged by a human. It can be a crucial first step towards getting professional help when they are ready. And you've got the second main role, data analysis and prediction tools.
This is where AI is working more quietly, analyzing all sorts of data behavioral, linguistic, biometric to spot changes in mental state. This could mean looking at the words you use, flagging language linked to distress, or analyzing your speech for changes in tone or rhythm. It might also look at phone usage patterns like scrolling habits, sleep cycles tracked by your phone, or even data from wearables like heart rate variability.
Wow, predicting crises. That's pretty striking. Can you give us a feel for how that prediction actually works? Like, what does that early warning mean for someone? Is the AI literally saying, hey, watch out, you might have a panic attack soon?
It's not quite that direct usually, but the idea is really powerful. Systems like Mindstrong, for example, analyze how you use your phone to detect really subtle early signs of cognitive or emotional changes. They're basically looking for deviations from your normal patterns. So maybe a certain big drop in how much you're interacting socially on your phone, or a change in how fast you type, things like that, could signal a shift. Ginger is another one that combines these AI insights with human coaches. And what that early warning means for you is, instead of waiting until symptoms are really bad, these tools can flag potential issues much earlier. That allows for proactive intervention. Mental health symptoms are often invisible, right? AI helps make them measurable, catching distress early, filling gaps where human therapists just can't monitor 24/7. But, like any powerful tech, it definitely comes with challenges. AI in mental health is no different. For one thing, while AI can mimic empathy with kind words, it doesn't have real lived human experience or that deep emotional intelligence. And that's often really central to healing and therapy. Think about someone grieving a major loss. They might need a level of human compassion an algorithm just can't genuinely provide.
That's a really important distinction. And I mean, given how personal mental health is, data security must be a massive concern, right? These tools are collecting incredibly sensitive stuff, your thoughts, moods, history, behavior patterns. If that data gets breached, the fallout could be devastating. Discrimination, maybe, or just profound shame. How do we even build trust in these systems when the stakes are that high?
That's a huge challenge every developer is wrestling with. Another big hurdle is making sure the data is representative. AI systems are only as fair as the data they learn from. So if the training data is mostly from one demographic group, the AI might totally misinterpret emotions or give unhelpful advice to people from different backgrounds. Mental health symptoms can show up differently across cultures, and an AI trained on narrow data just won't provide effective inclusive support.
Right. I can see how that could lead to major misinterpretations. And it makes me wonder, could people get too reliant on AI? Like maybe avoid seeing a professional even when they really, really need to? I mean, these tools aren't licensed therapists, are they?
No, they're not. And you've absolutely hit on a crucial point there. AI tools are incredibly powerful supplements, but they are not substitutes for human care, especially not for complex issues or crisis situations. If someone's dealing with severe depression or having suicidal thoughts, sure, an AI chatbot might offer immediate support, which is valuable, but it absolutely must be a bridge to get critical human help, not a replacement for it. And then there's just the broader challenge of how fast everything's moving. AI in mental health is developing way faster than regulators, governments, medical boards can set up solid standards for safety, testing, or effective use. So you end up with this landscape where the responsible integration of the tech needs to play catch-up.
That makes total sense. Okay, so with all that context, let's look at some of these real-world examples you mentioned earlier. First up, Wobot.
All right, Wobot. It's a text-based AI chatbot developed by clinical psychologists, and it's trained specifically in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. You basically chat with it through a mobile app. It asks how you're doing, tracks your mood over time, and responds with CBT techniques like helping you reframe negative thoughts. It checks in daily, helps you reflect. What makes it stand out is that it's really grounded in clinical research. Plus, it has this friendly, almost humorous tone sometimes, which makes it feel less like a sterile clinical tool and more like an approachable, supportive companion, especially for mild to moderate anxiety or depression.
Okay, and then WISA. How does that one compare?
WISA is also an AI mental health coach. It offers evidence-based therapy techniques to breathing exercises, mindfulness tools. You chat with the AI bot, and it uses techniques from CBT, but also DBT and ACT. It also has tools like guided meditations and journaling prompts built in. And importantly, WISA gives you the option to connect with a real human therapist that's usually a paid feature. So it's great for users who want a self-help tool that goes a bit deeper, or maybe you're dealing with stress or emotional fatigue. That unique mix of AI interaction plus the option for human support makes it really flexible and still evidence-based.
Interesting. How about tests? That one sounds a bit different, I think.
Yet, Test operates a bit differently. It's a psychological AI chatbot, but it interacts mainly via SMS, text messages. So it's really designed for scalability, especially in places with limited access to therapists or even reliable internet. Because it uses simple text messages, not a fancy app, it's great for lower tech settings. It delivers psychoeducation, emotional support, crisis prevention. It's really aimed at populations in low-resource areas, high-need settings like rural communities, underfunded schools, or even organizations wanting affordable, scalable support for employees. Its focus on working without needing a smartphone app or constant internet really sets it apart.
Right. And then there's Replica. This one got quite a bit of attention for being more like a companion, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, yeah. Replica is definitely positioned more as an AI-powered companion. It simulates deep emotional conversations, but the goal is more about emotional support and, well, companionship, rather than structured clinical therapy. Users create their own digital friend they can talk to anytime. The AI learns from your conversations over time and starts to mirror your style and emotional tone. It has features like role-playing and memory recall. It's popular with people feeling lonely, isolated, maybe socially anxious, or just looking for that kind of emotional connection. Its uniqueness is really in that focus on simulated emotional intimacy and personalized interaction, not a clinical framework.
Gotcha. And finally, MindStrong. This is one of those behind-the-scenes data tools we talked about earlier.
Exactly. MindStrong is a passive monitoring platform. It uses data from how you use your smartphone to track mental health status and spot early signs of distress. It collects behavioral data, typing speed, scroll rhythm, general phone usage patterns. Then it uses AI to look for those subtle cognitive shifts or signs of emotional decline. It can potentially alert clinicians or care teams about issues early on, allowing for intervention. It's particularly helpful for patients with serious conditions like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, and also for health systems wanting continuous monitoring and early warnings. What makes it really unique is that passive nature. You don't have to actively do anything, and its predictive power, catching patterns before symptoms might escalate visibly.
Okay, so we've seen the what and the who with these apps and platforms, but I think for a lot of listeners, the big question is how does this stuff actually work under the hood? Let's pull back that curtain on the mechanics of AI therapy. It's not magic, right? It's this complex mix of machine learning, psychology, data science.
That's exactly right. So the most common way it works is through text-based conversations. When you type messages to a chatbot, the AI uses that natural language processing, NLP, to break down your words, figure out the sentiment, understand the context, and then it delivers structured responses based on therapeutic ideas like CBT. The key here is the AI's ability to process and understand human language pretty sophisticatedly. The benefits are it feels informal, maybe safer, allows you to express yourself without judgment, and it's always available. Downsides. Sometimes it can miss nuance or slang, and like we said, it lacks true empathy.
Okay, then there's voice and emotion analysis. This feels like it goes even deeper. How does the AI actually hear emotion?
Yeah, this is definitely more advanced, adds another layer. Here the AI listens to your voice, maybe live, maybe recorded, and analyzes specific things. Your tone, speed, pitch, pauses, even the subtle sentiment in your words to try and gauge your emotional state. Some systems might even use facial recognition alongside it. So it might detect anxiety if you're speaking really fast, or maybe depression if your voice is more monotone. The benefit is adding that emotional context. It could potentially flag serious distress that text alone might miss. But challenges include potentially misinterpreting cultural differences in how people express emotion, and obviously big privacy questions around voice data.
Right. And finally, behavioral tracking, working silently in the background. It almost sounds like the AI is playing detective, looking for clues in your daily life.
Huh, that's a pretty good analogy. This method collects data passively, usually from smartphones or wearables. Things like your sleep duration, how much you move, your typing speed, even which apps you're using and for how long. Then algorithms search for deviations from your normal patterns that might signal emotional shifts. For instance, a sudden, lasting drop in physical activity could hint at depression, or really erratic sleep might signal anxiety. The benefits here are potentially huge, getting those early warning signs, enabling really personalized care, and allowing for proactive intervention. But it demands absolute transparency so you understand exactly what data is being collected and why. And of course, super careful handling of that sensitive data to keep trust.
What's really fascinating, I guess, is that some of the most advanced platforms are probably starting to combine all three, right? Conversation, emotion analysis, and behavior tracking to build this really holistic picture of someone's mental health over time. That multi-layered approach must allow for much more tailored recommendations and quicker detection of mood changes. It sounds like a much stronger safety net.
Oh, absolutely. When these methods work together, it seriously boosts the AI's ability to understand the user and intervene effectively. And understanding how these tools work really helps us appreciate the massive advantages they can offer. So maybe let's pivot to those significant benefits AI brings to mental health.
Yeah, let's do that. First one, accessibility. You mentioned this earlier. AI tools are there 24/7. No more waiting weeks for an appointment. So for you, the listener, if you've ever been in distress late at night, just knowing something is immediately available can be huge. This matters so much in remote areas, for people with weird schedules, or just in those crisis moments where instant support can literally make all the difference. Like a panic attack at 2 a.m., you could talk to a bot right then and there.
That's exactly. Then there's affordability. Huge one. Most AI apps are either free or pretty low cost. That's a massive contrast to traditional therapy, which, depending where you are, can be $80, $200, or even more per hour. And this is critical because mental health care often isn't well covered by insurance, right? So millions just avoid therapy purely because of the cost. A college student, maybe, or a single parent could get ongoing support without that huge financial burden.
Anonymity is another big one. And honestly, for a lot of people, this might be the only way they'd ever take that first step. You're interacting with AI, not a person, which takes away that fear of judgment. Nobody knows who you are unless you choose to share. This is so vital for people feeling shame about their struggles, or maybe living in cultures where mental illness is heavily stigmatized. Imagine a teenager exploring their identity or dealing with bullying. They might feel way safer opening up to a bot first.
Definitely. And finally, scalability. This is where AI really shines. One AI chatbot can support thousands, potentially millions, of users at the same time. This is absolutely critical because we have a global shortage of mental health professionals. It's stark. Many countries have fewer than one psychiatrist per 100,000 people. Traditional therapy just cannot meet the current demand, especially during big crises. But an AI wellness bot, you could roll that out to a company of, say, 10,000 employees and ensure everyone gets at least a baseline layer of support, not just a privileged few.
So yeah, summing that up, it feels like AI tools really do make basic support more universal, less of a luxury. They lower that barrier to just starting a mental health journey. They can take a significant load off overworked human therapists. They offer real-time help in emotional rough patches, and they genuinely empower people to track and manage their own well-being. Really makes you think, doesn't it? If AI can bridge so many of these access gaps, how might it fundamentally change the whole traditional therapy model in the next, say, decade?
It's an exciting thought, yeah. And that leads us perfectly into what might be next. The future of AI and mental health is definitely still unfolding. What we're seeing now is really just the start. Future developments seem aimed at blending that human connection with AI's precision in even more sophisticated ways.
Okay, so that brings us to things like hybrid models, combining AI's strength, speed, scalability with the empathy and adaptability that only humans have. How would that actually look?
Well, in a hybrid model, you could see AI handling the more routine stuff, mood tracking, setting reminders, maybe delivering standardized exercises. That frees up the human therapist to focus on the really deep, complex issues that absolutely need that human touch, that nuance. AI could even feed therapists real-time data insights about their clients between sessions, stuff they wouldn't normally see. So it boosts the therapist's efficiency without losing the essential human element. And it could enable much earlier intervention if the AI spots a worrying trend.
Right. Next up, personalized AI therapy. This sounds like the ultimate custom experience.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
The idea is that future AI platforms will offer support that's deeply customized to you, your unique personality, your background, your values, your history. The AI would learn from every interaction, adjusting its tone, its style, the therapeutic methods it uses, maybe even its language, based on your individual profile. And this matters hugely because, as we know, mental health support isn't one size fits all. True personalization could make therapy way more effective and engaging, especially for people from diverse cultural backgrounds or those who are neurodiverse.
And what about integration with wearables? I always just thought my smartwatch tracked my steps, but you're saying it could become like a silent mental health monitor.
That's definitely the vision. AI-powered mental health tools syncing up with smartwatches, fitness trackers, even just your smartphone to monitor physiological and behavioral data constantly in real time. Wearables track heart rate, sleep patterns, activity levels, maybe even voice tone passively. The AI could then detect subtle shifts that might indicate rising emotional stress or a decline in well-being, potentially sending alerts or even emergency notifications if needed. This really opens the door to truly preventive mental health care, acting before problems escalate. That could be incredibly powerful for managing chronic conditions.
Wow. Okay. And finally, looking even further ahead, emotionally intelligent AI. This sounds almost like science fiction. Is AI actually going to understand us?
Well, understand is a strong word, but it's certainly pushing the boundaries. The idea is that next-gen AI won't just process words. It'll start to grasp emotional nuance, tone, context. There's a whole field called affective computing working on this. This kind of AI might analyze facial expressions, subtle changes in voice, picking up on things like sarcasm, cultural humor, grief, maybe trauma triggers, and then respond with much greater emotional sensitivity. This is vital because, let's face it, current AI can still sound pretty robotic sometimes.
Yeah.
Emotionally intelligent bots could create a much more authentic and genuinely supportive experience.
So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground. We've journeyed through this really dynamic landscape of AI and mental health. From the basic definitions and the roles AI plays to real apps, how they work, the huge benefits, but also those critical challenges and ethical points we just can't ignore. It's been quite the deep dive.
It really has. And I think a key takeaway, maybe the most important one, is that AI seems poised to make basic mental health support much more universal, not just a luxury for those who can afford it. These tools really do lower the barrier for people to even start addressing their mental health. And they can take significant pressure off human therapists who are often overwhelmed. But, and it's a big but, always remember, AI tools are best seen as powerful supplements. They're not substitutes for human care, especially when things get complex or reach a crisis point.
Right. So what for you listening is that this evolving landscape means you have more layers of potential support available than ever before. We're talking about digital coaching, online peer support groups, simple mood check-in reminders on your phone, AI that can actively help you rethink negative thoughts as they happen. This whole shift is genuinely helping to normalize conversations about mental health, chipping away at the stigma, and really empowering individuals to take a more active role in their own well-being.
Exactly. And maybe a final thought for you to mull over. For AI in mental health to be truly trustworthy, truly effective, it has to be built on really solid ethical foundations. Thoughtful design principles. That means things like transparency, being clear about how it works, how your data is used. It means being culturally sensitive and inclusive in its design and training. It means being closely integrated with human care pathways when that's needed. And it means being properly guided, maybe regulated to make sure it's safe and the quality is there as it continues to develop.
So consider this. The future of AI and mental health isn't just about building smarter tech, it's really about building a whole ecosystem, one where AI can support our daily emotional hygiene, where therapists get equipped with better tools and deeper insights, and where you can access timely, personalized, and stigma-free care whenever and wherever you might need it.